Whisky.de. Treffpunkt feiner Geister.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei Whisky.de, dem Treffpunkt feiner Geister. Heute bin ich auf der abgelegenen Insel Jura. Die liegt nordöstlich von der Insel Einer. Und darauf gibt es die Destillerie, die Jura Distillerie. Sie ist 1810 gegründet worden und erbaut worden, obwohl vorher auch schon ein bisschen illegal gebrannt wurde. Und 1832 wurde sie dann erstmals registriert und sie wurde dann irgendwann stillgelegt. Und 1963 ist das Ganze dann wieder aufgebaut worden, das Dach drauf gemacht worden, alles wieder mit Stills und Maschinen versehen worden und ist durchgängig am Produzieren gewesen. Und jetzt ist es unsere schöne Jura Brennerei. Und da schauen wir heute mal, was da so dahinter steckt. Hinter mir ist die Malzmühle von der Jura Brennerei. Es ist eine zweistufige Malzmühle, bei denen das Malz grob geschrotet wird. Und 4 Wochen im Jahr macht die Brennerei ein getorftes Malz, sodass wir aus diesem getorften Malz den Jura Prophecy und den Jura Superstition herstellen können. Nach dem Schroten des Malzes kommt dann das Malz in die neue große rostfreie Stahl Semi-Laudertann. Und hier wird das mit heißem Wasser, der Zucker ausgespült. Und in der letzten Spülung wird dann die Stärke herausgewaschen und dann in einem Tank gelagert, der dann wieder für die erste Spülung benutzt wird, um keine der Stärke zu verlieren, die man später in der Fermentation benötigt. Die Jura Brennerei hat 6 Washbags mit 48.300 Litern Volumen und ein Washbag braucht 54 Stunden, um komplett durchzufermentieren und dann ein Bier mit ungefähr 8% Alkohol zu produzieren. Ein Washbag wird von 2 Mash-Tuns gefüllt und hier ist gerade eine dieser Washbags, der gerade befüllt wird. Zuerst geht das gemashte Getreide nochmal durch einen Kühler und wird dann hier reingefüllt. Die erste wird befüllt, dann fügt man die Hefe hinzu und füllt noch eine weitere Mash-Tun auf, sodass der Washbag voll ist und fermentieren kann. Neben mir sind die Washstills von Jura. Sie haben eine Kapazität von 24.000 Litern. Das heißt, ein Fermentationstank kann auf 2 dieser Washstills aufgeteilt werden. Und was wir noch sehen ist, wir haben über dem Kessel eine Einschnürung, was den Reflux erhöht und damit den Alkohol besser trennt und wir ein besseres Destillat für unseren Whisky bekommen. Nach der Washstill, wenn sie außerhalb des Gebäudes kondensiert wurde, hat der erste Zwischenbrand ungefähr eine Alkoholstärke von 23%. Im zweiten Schritt wird dann der Intermediate Spirit zum Rohbrand weiter veredelt. Und nur 10% von den 48.000 Litern, die wir am Anfang aus dem Fermentierkessel bekommen haben, enden auch in dem sogenannten Center Cut und das endet dann im Fass und wird zu Whisky veredelt. Hinter mir ist der Spirit Tank, wo der Rohbrand gelagert wird oder gesammelt wird und dann später in Ex-Bourbon-Fässer abgefüllt wird. Jura füllt nur in Ex-Bourbon-Fässer ab, lagert sie dann für eine gewisse Zeit lang und finisht seinen Whisky dann mit den verschiedenen Sherry und Wein und anderen Starkweinfässern. Ja, und das macht dann den Jura Whisky aus. Wir sind jetzt durch mit der Führung und werden jetzt auf Englisch ein Tasting weitermachen. So I'm sitting here at the Visitor Center with Rachel Jones.
Hello.
She's the Visitor Center Manager. Thank you for having us at the
It's a pleasure.
Jura Distillery. We've already got some whiskies here, so
Yes.
what are we having today?
So I've just given you a selection of our core range, which are readily available most places. So we'll be starting with our 10-year-old, then our 16-year-old, the Jura's Own, then onto the Superstition and the Prophecy.
Ah, okay. Very nice. So yeah, let's just dive right in.
Dive right in. So we'll be starting with, this is your 10-year-old here. So this has been aged its whole life in ex-bourbon casks. So it's a really light, delicate, it's a lovely dram, really good.
So it's an unpeated whiskey.
Yeah,
as I smell
unpeated.
it.
Yes. So Jura is more sort of we're more about the unpeated whiskey. We only do our peated whiskey for 4 weeks of every year. So we're a lot more of our whiskies are unpeated than peated. If that makes sense. So.
Yeah, but you're more of a Highland malt for the characteristic?
Because of the style of our stills, we've got the second highest stills in Scotland and some of the biggest by volume. That gives us a very light and very delicate new make spirit, which then goes into making obviously our whiskey. So it gives us a very light and very delicate whiskey.
Okay. Yeah, I got bit of a spiciness on, but I have also flowers. So there's no sherry in there.
No sherry for this one. It's all ex-bourbon.
There's a bit of fruitiness going on there. Okay.
Are you ready to taste?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Lighter. Mm-hmm. It's a nice sipping whiskey.
It's a really easy to drink, this one.
Got a bit of honey.
Yeah. Sort of oak, honey, caramel, things like that.
Yeah.
Here at Jura, we're very much we don't like to kind of tell people what they're tasting, because I find that quite the power of suggestion is very strong. As soon as I say to you, like, oh, orange, you'll be, oh yeah, orange, and it's I really like to let people kind of let me know what they're tasting, because during the a session, say you've got 6 people here, you're going to start getting really interesting things from folk. So
yeah, and the thing is, it always depends on your mood and the setting, and they always taste different at the distillery.
See, that's the thing. This is going to taste the best ever. Like, you've got the view of the sea. You're here. It's a cold day outside. You're nice and warm in here. This is going to be really, you'll enjoy it the best.
It's a nice one. So we had the production capacity of 2.2 million liters per year. Yeah. That's quite big. Do you support any blends?
Unfortunately, we don't have, well, fortunately maybe, we don't put any of our whiskey into blends anymore. About sort of 6 years ago, we were still having a small percentage going to blends, but now we're barely able to keep up with how much people are wanting our whiskey, so we're unable to have any go off to blends. Everything now is used for Jura, for our single malt.
So 2.2 million liters of production going into single malt.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So
yes. Yeah.
That's probably good. So we're not running out of any stock. And
I hope not.
Okay. So
So next up we have our 16-year-old. So this was renamed the Jurek Zone. This is the favorite of the islanders here. We all get a free dram every month from the distillery that we can claim over at the hotel. And this is the one that most people will be going for. It's a really, really lovely dram. This is 14 years in the ex-bourbon, and then 2 years in sherry.
So it's a sherry.
So it's got sherry finish, and
yeah, you get a bit of grapes in there, and maybe that's not grapes, that's berries. But I also get flowery scent. Yeah.
This is probably my favorite, I think.
That's good that you get a drum every now and then. Okay, really nice.
You ready?
Cheers. How much alcohol do they have?
This one is 40%.
Yeah, it's pretty mild and mellow. It's not sharp then. So are your whiskeys colored in any way?
So we do have to add sometimes a little bit of colour to our 10-year-old. It's simple. I've got a kind of an example of it here. These are all
I'll just show that to the camera.
So these are all from 21-year-old aged casks. So obviously with a 10-year-old it won't be quite as extreme, but you can see the difference you're going to get from the colour of your whiskey from each cask. Every cask is individual, so every cask gives slightly different things to your whiskey. So it's not as extreme, obviously, for a 10-year-old, but we will then, once we're vatting, we want to make sure that the whiskey's always, it's more of a consumer thing. Consumers don't like to come and look on a shelf, and if it looks a different colour, they think, oh, it tastes different, it's going to be a different whiskey.
We sell a lot of whiskey, and we get all kinds of complaints and all kinds of trouble, so we're actually a bit glad that we have a continuous
That's the thing.
product.
It's all about consumer confidence, and unfortunately most consumers maybe won't realise that there will be natural variations. With sort of other of our whiskies, they're more, perhaps people who are a bit more into their whiskey will be buying them, so they'll be more aware of the fact that there will be natural variations within a whiskey. So, but for the 10-year-old, we like to keep it so that everyone is quite happy with what they're getting.
Okay, so we have the 10-year-old bit of color in there, and the rest is natural color.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the third one?
So the next one, we're now moving into our peated whiskies. So this is our Superstition. So this is a very, very lightly peated, really lightly peated, and it's a marriage of sort of unpeated and peated whiskies. So it makes it quite a complex, quite an interesting dram. So I'd like to have a wee.
Oh yeah, get the peat. Do you know the ppm level we're looking at?
Not really. It can vary. It's quite low. It's in the low teens.
Okay. So when do you know when you do the vetting process between the peated and the unpeated whiskies? Is that during the spirit phase, or is that during the
it's later on after maturation.
After maturation, you do that. So it's the master blender takes the casks and blends them together.
This is when Richard Patterson does all his magic.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yep, cheers.
Yeah, it's lightly peated.
It's really light, isn't it?
I usually get for the heavily peated.
Yeah.
I'm more of the extreme guy, but
you're an Octomore man.
Octomore, that's something else. But it's interesting anyway.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
but it's amazing. Here you have a slightly peated one, and there are more flavors that you can pick up if you don't have that big of a peat.
That's the great thing about the Superstition. It won a lot of awards because it's a really quite complex dram. I think sometimes it's easy to not notice that, but there's a lot going on in there because if you've got these two sort of sides going on, it's a really lovely one, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so the last one.
The last one, finally, we're on to Prophecy. So this is for you, the heavily peated.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no Octomore for the level of peat, but it's still pretty peated.
So
this one is a wee bit stronger as well. This is 46%.
okay, yeah, I think I can smell it a bit.
So this has been aged in bourbon and in the Limousin oak casks as well.
The Limousin is the French oak.
Yeah, French oak, yeah.
French oak. Yeah, I get a bit more heavy notes. Can't quite figure out what it is.
It's a tough one.
It's complex, definitely.
There's sort of, well, to me it's sort of like tarry bonfire-y kind of smells and sort of sea spray kind of, but everyone's different, so.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of a salty note. So you have all the the signs and all the great
symbols.
shapes of the bottle and thing. Is there anything behind that?
Yeah, well, the bottle shape is a practicality, like many things on Jura, to be honest. It was just that when, in days when we were shipping out from Jura to other places, this way with the bottle, there was only 4 points of contact, so when they were in a boat, there was less chance of them breaking. You know, if you had bottles all lined up. So this way, they had less chance of breaking on their sea journey.
So it's actually, I always thought that's a marketing thing, like,
Yeah,
but it's more of a practical
It had a
thing.
practical thing, and
Nice.
personally, I think it's quite a ergonomically
It
nice
actually
bottle.
fits
It's
really nice
yeah.
in your hand. I like the feel of the bottle
Yes.
when you hold it. That is really cool.
Yeah, it sounds bad to say that you like the feel of a whole
A
bottle
whole
of whiskey.
bottle of whiskey.
But it's a lovely bottle to hold, and but it had a practical past.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
So yeah, let's have a
yes,
try.
cheers,
Cheers.
cheers.
It comes a bit slow. The peak comes a bit slow.
It's like a build up of
But it's like a ham.
like a ham.
Ham. Yeah, that reminds me of ham.
This is what I mean about when you do tastings, you'll always hear something quite interesting from people. And I've never heard ham.
You've never heard of ham yet?
No one's ever said that the whiskey tastes like ham. So.
Yeah, but one of the smoked hams.
I'm
not
joking,
like
sorry.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for having us.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, that's our video about the Jura distillery. Thanks for watching. If you find this video, then please share it with your friends. And if you ever come to Scotland, you should definitely go out
please
to
stop
Jura.
by.
It's a remote island, but the trip is worth it. Thanks for watching.